This is the title I have chosen to share with you today. Responsive parents, happy kids. Now, it's really not a question of creating a child who is about me. It's not about nurturing a me generation, but it is also as someone who has been in, not just as parents actually, but working with parents and also in psychology for all this the past few decades. So that's how old I am. Okay. The happy part here is really about being self-adjusted. Okay, being self-adjusted so that when we feel that ourselves is taken care of, then we can also contribute to society better, inshallah. So that is the idea. It's not the idea of I want to not about really about raising kids who are going to be confident enough and happy enough with themselves that they want to share this happiness with others. They want to then have this empathy and help others. This is also very much in line with our national education philosophy, actually, kesejahteraan diri and then kesejahteraan masyarakat. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay. But so what is our role as parents then? So our role as parents is to be responsive. I'm not talking at this point, not talking response. Why responsive? I will discuss this later. Okay. Brother Amran has actually mentioned that the reason also why I choose this title at this point, this is not a new thing. This VUCA thing is not new. It has been out there in several decades already. But perhaps the pandemic has really also, for some people, life has been very much a non-issue in a way. And now suddenly you have this really great disruption. And you realize that, we are bringing up our kids into a world that we may not have envisioned. I think I see some of you who have been in and saying hi to you. Okay. Who have been parenting kids. When we had our own children 20 plus years back, our first child, the internet is really, well, we did have internet. Okay, I'm not going to be like my youngest who said, when you were young, as if I was like so ancient, long time ago. But, we did have internet, but we didn't have smartphones. Okay, so, the internet was really more of a way that it helped me in my work. It helped me in my study. Okay, it helped me at that time when I was in the United States. It helped me keep in touch a little bit easier, but not that much easier actually, because not everybody was online, okay, with social media. But now, even young children have smartphones, have gadgets. Okay, that's a different issue. But it's a world that we live in right now. Okay, and you ask children, okay, YouTube, they learn a lot of things that we as parents have to monitor. I think I have actually discussed this in my first talk. But yes, we no longer can tell our children, you go to university, get a degree, and then you get a good job and life will be okay. It's not like that anymore. So how are we going to raise our children when we also do not know the path that they are going? So this is why I chose this talk, because it's okay. Okay, I'm just going to say that it's okay not to know what is exactly that they are facing out there, because first we want to start with what is inside. Okay, the inside is strong, inshallah, then they will be able to go and face that VUCA world out there, whatever that world may be. We know that the values are changing. They're no longer just exposed to the values of the immediate families. They're introduced to the values of the whole world. Okay, and some messages are louder than others, so we can't be monitoring those for them all the time, okay, especially as they grow older. Okay, so that's why we need to build this inner strength inside them. That's why, okay, I chose to use the word happy here, okay, because, well, in a way, as a title, it's going to be a little bit more catchy, okay, but also because this happiness, basically this happiness with your own self, this being able to live with yourself, is the thing that, inshallah, is going to help our children face whatever it is that is out there. Okay. We have seen in the universities, for example, we have seen mental health cases of the students rising. Okay, some are genuine cases, but there are also some cases where, as I go through them, it's like, okay, this is okay, let's use the term that people use now, trigger, easily triggered people, okay, where, or or as children, or as the young people nowadays say, senang koyak. Okay, but of course we would provide those services that they need, but in a way, it's like they're not resilient. They have this one issue that should have been, that yes, it's a bit stressful, but with a little bit of help, or with proper thinking and everything, they will be able to go through them. But it is as if it's the end of the world. This is what I mean when I say that this is senang koyak kind of people. So they're not resilient enough. So we want to be able to raise our children to be this resilient. Okay, what is resilient then? I'm talking about here. Okay, so if you read up, most easily it is said as if it's the ability to bounce back. Okay, this process actually in psychology is called a process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress. Okay, so the ability to bounce back. Okay, so we are not going to, and we cannot guarantee that our children will have everything, have days full of sunshine all the time. Okay, and I actually think also it's not healthy, okay, for them to never feel any stress whatsoever. In fact, in psychology, we have what we call eustress. Eustress is this very productive kind of stress, the kind of stress you feel when you have a deadline coming, right? And suddenly you feel that your productivity goes higher, but but not too much stress. That's the idea. But with resilience is even with very extreme circumstances that we feel that anyone else would probably just give ways to rise. Okay, and the thing is also this, that it can even have profound, being resilient, this adversity, this trauma, this tragedy that they're going through will inshallah make them become better. Okay, so we don't have to look back, we can, the past year, the pandemic, how have our children coped? We know, okay, in general, the mental health issue has risen. There are more reported cases. Okay, there are also more cases of abuse, unfortunately. Okay, so there are also cases of, unfortunately, also more suicide cases, more suicide attempt cases. The latest was yesterday again. Okay, with this 9-year-old. Okay, so that's already a great disruption, a great source of stress for these children. How have our children, been doing? How are they? Are they now 1 year past? Are we now okay? Are we resilient? Okay, so that's the idea. If you're trying to think about what resilient is. Let me go back. Sorry, no, it's this one. Okay, I made a mistake. Okay. I'm not going to be putting out very much a lot of psychology. Do please know that this is based on psychological concepts and also findings. It's just I'm just trying to just not use too much psychology terms here. Okay, so we have to get to know our child. Okay, now most of us know what we want our child to be. Okay, we look at this child and say, okay, this, I think you're going to be like this, you're going to like this. That's what we want our child to be, which may then affect what we choose to see in that child. Okay. When actually, when I say get to know your child, we have to know what the child is really like. Okay. This is where observation comes in. Okay, observation skills. I know we think as parents we know our child, and by right we should. Okay, but let's just be clear. This knowing our child is that because we think we know our child, or do we really know our child? Okay, so children can also act the way we want them to be in front of us. Even young children, they learn over time. If they behave this way, mommy or daddy, will like it. If they behave a certain way, mommy or daddy will not like it. And then even if they don't really want to do it, they behave the way you want them to behave in front of you. But they will, quote unquote, be themselves with their friends or on that you don't want them to be. But this is, I say, know what your child is really like and will influence what we choose to see. Okay, or how we interpret their behavior. Okay, we see this and then sometimes we interpret them as saying, oh, okay, because this is we want some, everybody wants intelligent children. So we just remember that one example and say that our child is a genius. And then we go to school, we go to the parent-teacher conference, and then the teacher said, your child is struggling in school. And then we may get upset because they say, no, my child is so smart. Okay, it must be you, the school. That's not really doing what you should be doing. I don't know. Okay, some of us may be like that. Okay, I have actually in our when we work with in early childhood education, we have had parents who are like that too. But know also that our children at home and our children at school can behave very differently. Okay, it's not that they have split personality, it's just that the context makes them behave differently. Okay, so we want to be able to see and understand this child, okay, as a separate person of their own, not as someone we want them to be. Sometimes some parents get so into, I want my child to be a doctor. Okay, and that's all that they can see. So everything is geared towards that. The child got straight A's and went to university, got into medic program, and then they will come to people like me when I was taking care of the admission but in the university. I want to change. I don't want to do medicine. Okay, so those and then you have the parents coming in. or the children got into a different program, and then the parents come in, and then the parents come to us and say, we would like to have a change of program for our child. Okay, we want them to change from program A to program B, but the university actually has very clear-cut rule. Okay, the only person who can apply for the change of program is the student. So, but a lot of times, sometimes what we have to do is we actually have to be this mediator between this family. Okay, and that's but that's part of what we try to help. Okay, but this is if we as parents perhaps will be able to step back and really see what is it about our child, what is our child like. Of course, we all have hopes for our child. Okay, and we would try to create this, to provide this environment that will help them to be there. Okay, because as parents, we all should have objectives of why we are parents. Okay, but it's just then, we then need to then be able to balance it out with what the child is actually like. Okay, and find this common ground, find this balance. Okay, and not feel disappointed. Okay, if the child does not choose the path that you want them to, but as long as they're not doing something that is illegal, inshallah, that should be okay. So this is what we mean by being responsive parents. Being responsive parents is not about being there all the time, physically being there all the time and responding all the time. I'm going to show you what that kind of parents is like. Okay, because that kind of behavior is really not helpful. You see this? Okay, you see this? Okay, I think many of you have actually been, that's why you're here, because you're really very interested in parenting, and you've probably read about parenting styles. Okay, and at one extreme, we have these laissez-faire parenting styles, where basically the parent just say, you do whatever you want. Okay. Some may end up spoiling the child rotten. Some may end up not caring about the child at all. Okay, but basically, the child is in a way going to be isolated. Okay, it's basically the parent not being responsive, because it's like, you do whatever you want. Okay, I will give you whatever you want for these overdoting parents, but they're still not actually being responsive, because this being responsive is not just about what the child wants, but what also the child needs. Okay, we have to balance between what the child wants and what the child needs. Okay, and then we have the helicopter parents and the bulldozer parents. Okay, let's just open our mind and just reflect whether we are this type of parents or not. Okay, these are parents who advocate for the child. On the surface, that's good. Okay, but why do we call it helicopter parenting? Because wherever the child is, okay, they will be hovering. Okay, trying to take care of things for the child. That is the problem. The problem with helicopter parenting is they try to resolve the issues for their child. The child has an issue with the teacher. Okay, the parent go in. Well, of course, there are some things that you have to go in, but not all the time. The teacher admonishes the child for not submitting your homework. Okay, so what does the parent do? Sit down with the child and make sure that the child finish, okay, which may be good, which may look good in the first place, but not really making the responsibility of finishing the homework the child's responsibility. Okay, we do also know some parents who actually do the homework or assignment for the child themselves. Okay, this is when we look at this type of parenting is about the degree of involvement. So you have these laissez-faire parents who are just not wanting to be involved at all. And then you have the helicopter parent and the bulldozer parents who are just so over involved. Okay. Being involved is important. You need to know who your child's friends are. Okay, but again, depending on the age, of course, then you want to be able to give them some room. Okay, but you need to know, who they mix with, and like I said, because you need to know what your child is really like. But the problem is with this kind of parenting is they then end up doing all those things for their children. We're not going to have resilient children here. We may have children who on the surface may feel happy, but they're actually not. Because when parents keep doing things for the children actually over time will get this message that, I'm probably not good enough. I'm not competent enough. That's why my parents have to do everything for me. It's my issue, but my parents have to do everything for me. It's my job, but my parents have to do everything for me. Okay. Over time, they may then have this learned helplessness. We don't want to have, and then of course, then they just say that, I can't do this, mommy. And then, mommy being this very helpful, wanting to be with this very helpful parents, step in. And if this continues all the time, you can see why it's not healthy, why it's not helpful. The bulldozer parents just bulldoze. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, they just go in and just do the thing for their child. Again, not helpful. Yeah, I have seen even, I'm looking at this, we know that the younger the children are, the more help they need. But the problem is that a lot of us forget to let go. I'm seeing this with the students, some of the students at the university. Okay, the first day when they register, they walk like, okay, I'm just carrying my file. And these aged parents will be carrying the bags. You have a very healthy young person not carrying their own bag. Why? Because we have been doing it for them all the time. Okay, when our children get out from school, I do this observation because that's what I do, right? I observe people all the time. Okay, the moment the parent, I know school bags are heavy, but that it becomes such a habit that the moment that they see the child, they take the bag first. I think perhaps when the child is younger, young, but as they grow older, by right, that should already not be done. Okay, right? So this is where sometimes we forget. So that's not helpful, this idea that we need to step in all the time. Okay, we're not going to raise resilient children. We're not going to raise happy children because they don't get this satisfaction of job well done. Okay, so then what do we as responsive parents, what can we do? We can create, I would suggest that we create this safe space and safe space. Just going to share some basic concepts. Okay, basic. Okay, this is not exhaustive. Okay, but basic. If there are things that you want to take out from this today, at least you know that, okay, I have to be consistent. Okay, we don't change our mind all the time. Okay, of course, we're going to be flexible depending on the situation, but they know, for example, that if this is supposed to be done, if there are house rules, for example, if there are house rules, the house rules are to be followed. Not that, okay, today we have house rules, tomorrow we don't have house rules. And today I feel like having house rules again. No, tomorrow, no. So that's not consistent. Okay. When the child cries, as a baby, when the child cries, do we pick the child up or do we not pick the child up? Yeah, of course, there's going to be a lot of debate out there. Okay. Okay. But responsive parents pick the child up, consistently pick the child up when there is a need to. Okay. And if we actually really observe young babies, they don't cry simply for the sake of crying. Okay. And there are different kinds of cries. Okay. Once we become sensitive and responsive to those kind of cries and those kind of communication, that's a way of communication actually, then we can be consistent. We know that, okay, if the cry is really just a mengada-ngada kind of cry, okay, I mean, as the child grows older, then we consistently don't respond. Over time, that kind of cry will stop. Okay, but if the child is in pain, they know that, and we will be consistent. The child is in pain. Whenever you have that kind of need, you will always go and help. That's consistent. Okay. Right? So to have this open channel of communication, to be engaged with the child. Okay. I talked earlier about what's not healthy is this over involvement. Okay. To be engaged with this child is to be talking to them, to be, it's not going to be like we sit in the same room. I have a gadget, the child has a gadget, and then we're just not talking to each other because we're all involved, engaged in our own gadget, not with each other. Okay. Think about when you talk to your children, do we look at them now or do we talk to them while we're looking at our gadgets? Okay. I know it's very difficult now because now it's a work from home for a lot of us. Sometimes this is what I have to do also. And then I will just have to tell them, wait, hold on. I just have to send this out and then I will attend to you. Okay, because now the boundary between work and family is just so blurred for a lot of us with this pandemic. So yes, that's a lot of challenge for us. Okay, and the other thing also is then to make our responses age appropriate. Now, when I say consistent here just now, we can't be saying we can't be doing the same thing when this child is 2 years old, when this child is 5, when this child is 8, when this child is 12. We do the same thing because you want to be consistent. No, consistent is really a concept that you have a principle. It's not very specific to a behavior. Okay. But we are going to be age appropriate in terms of how we react to specific behaviors. Okay, we're consistent in our approach. Okay, but we will make it age appropriate. Okay, so yes, if you have a lot of children, of course they're of different ages. Okay, and so they're of different ages, so you have to treat the abang very differently from the. Of course, you'll have your children saying that's no fair. How come she get to do this? I cannot do this. Okay, so that's how then you communicate. You engage with them. You have to explain. Okay, because abang can go out maybe because he is more responsible. He is already that age where he can go out and meet his friends. You're not there yet. Okay, you have not. Or if as they get to that age, and then they say, how come abang could last time? Because he has been responsible. He has shown how responsible he has become. You have not shown that yet. Okay, so you're not allowed to yet. Okay, until you can convince us that you can be this responsible person. Okay, so this is why we are consistent. Okay, we're consistent. We're consistent in the sense that you have to be responsible first. Okay, and how do we know that our child is responsible? Because we have been observing. Okay, so we are being this responsive parent. Okay, and then we will do whatever is we make these decisions. And that's why we don't do the same things for all our children all the time. Okay, I'm just going to go now just to share, just to put this into day-to-day kind of thing. Okay, even though just to also keep in mind that there is no one size fits all. Okay, that has been my one hesitancy when I do this parenting talks. I don't want people, worried that people will see that then they have to change. Well, change for good, inshallah. Yes, I mean, I would be very, very worried if you think that there is nothing that you can take out from any one of my talk. If I go to any talk and they think that they cannot learn anything, then that would be a very worrying thing. Okay, but also to keep in mind that these are tips, so you need to adjust as you work with your own children, which is why we go back to the earlier thing that I talked about. You have to know what your child is like. Okay, we have to be observant. Okay, we have to be able to step back and see. Okay, if our child, if we let them do this on their own, are they going to be able to, things like that? Okay, but we need to just sometimes be able to just step back and just observe the child and not just be in their life all the time. Be in their life meaning to be so over involved. Okay, we're engaged, but we're not going to be over involved. Okay, well, some of the things I'm just going to put just 3 major tips only, because you can't just put everything all in one time at one go. Okay. This sounds good. Yes, for parents, give them chores. Okay, but they're not going to be happy. Who says they're not going to be happy? They may try to whistle it out of them, sometimes, because it's so much fun to play games, right? Okay, then to do your laundry. I mean, their own laundry, not the parents' laundry, but their own laundry. Then to clean up to make up their own bed. It's so much fun to just do some other things, but we do have to give them chores. I give you back to the age appropriate thing. Okay, give them chores that are age appropriate. Okay, there are a lot of parents out there, families out there with maids or helpers. That does not mean that children should not be given chores. In fact, if you have outside help, it is much more important for you to make sure that children have their own chores to do. Okay, for example, very easy one. So, I'm just going to tell you, if you Google, you'll find all this age appropriate thing, but don't just take all the lists as, as the truth. You just make sure that it is suitable for your family, because different families have different makeups. I know, I have seen children 12-year-old children taking care of their younger siblings. Okay, I think a lot of us were raised that way, but then, as we raise our children, some of us may feel that, that's not what they should do, but give them age-appropriate chores. Okay, they're not the main caregiver, yes, but they can help. Okay, that way you also, as parents, you don't overburden yourself. Okay, messy wardrobe. Okay, all enough to then keep it. Okay, a little bit of help there, but still your own wardrobe. Okay, so it's your own responsibility. So that is the idea here with this. Again, age appropriate. You won't be doing this with a 6-year-old. They can't even be, but you can help them help. Okay, with putting their clothes. Okay, or taking their clothes to their room. Okay, so that would be the age appropriate thing for them to do. Okay, and then you can start teaching them how to fold certain of their clothes. Okay, so that would be with the younger children, and then as they grow older, then they can. Okay, okay, and then like during the process, you're not a handicapper, but at the end when it's all done, it's like, wow, it's such a feeling of accomplishment. There you go. Okay, but this is once in a while kind of thing. But you can have daily chores. Okay, wash their own dishes, their own, okay, or at least bring the dish to the sink. Again, age appropriate. Okay, they can help sweep the floor. I have seen parents who say, "Oh, I didn't know that children can sweep the floor." But the children, when they go to school, they have all these duties. Okay, but because we don't ask them to do these chores at home, then they just, okay, it's okay, I don't have to do it. Okay, so give them chores that are age appropriate. Okay, and also suitable to your this one. Okay, this is another example. I'm just going to use at this point. Yes, I'm can see, or like, this will be my children because not because I'm the best parent, but really because it's easier to get permission to use these pictures. Okay, this was when he was 9. Okay, and he just really wanted to help out with this. So it wasn't really a chore in a way. Okay, but he just wanted to help out. So yeah, okay. We taught him how to do this. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this is the ketupat palas. Okay, and then see how happy, how proud he is that, yay, I did it. And that's actually very good. I was like, okay, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that at his age. Okay, not that nice. Okay, so you have that. Okay, so give them chores. Don't be shy. Okay. But also remember to let them play. Okay. Again, age appropriate. Okay, age appropriate type of play, and also different types of play. Okay. Some of us would be really very into educational games, yes, but remember, it's not about you, it's about the child. Okay, also see what kind of things that they like. Okay, and then check them out, that is also play for them. Okay, but as they play, actually, they also learn a lot of stuff. Okay, but play and young children would be a different thing altogether if we want to talk about this. Otherwise, it will take forever. Okay, but let them do chores, but also let them play. Okay, and then finally, I just want to just say, acknowledge their thoughts and feelings and efforts. Okay. Just going to pick this up. Okay, this is a very responsive vision.
It was my music now. No. Okay, together then. 1, 2, 3. Twinkle, twinkle. So everybody can see your face on the camera.
Okay. This girl was only, let me see, I'm going to try and remember, 3.5. But already she could control her emotions. But you can see also that the mother did not just step in, right? Okay, so this is actually also trusting your child. Okay, but the mother also didn't just say, just stop it. Don't, so that is that acknowledgement and trying to get them. So this is one of the things that we can do also. I'm just going to just share a different way we can acknowledge them. Okay, this is a little bit of the play, chore, and acknowledgement. Actually, all together, you know. Okay, they wanted to do this. Okay, so they, so it was they're supposed to take very good care in terms of how they go about doing this, right? And then, the product is really not something to chat about. I mean, if you really cannot sell this, but yep, you put it out on your social media to share. This is also acknowledgement, because they know that you appreciate the efforts. Okay. Right, so this is a little bit of the play and chore, and also this acknowledgement. This is just an example of what you can do. Okay, this is also why, if you see your friends putting up their children's work, children's effort on their own social media, let's not say, oh, show off. Okay, let's just appreciate. Ooh, cool. Okay, because the more well-adjusted children there are out there, the better, inshallah. Okay, so it is also not about our children, but also about other people's children. Okay, so if everything that a mother or a father does and then put it up on their own social media, of course they're proud of the children, and we go like, itu pun, okay, itu pun macam ni pun nak tunjuk juga, so don't say anything, okay, rather than saying those kind of things. But let's all try and get our mindset change, inshallah, to just, all right, this is actually a good job for children this age. Okay, and then you think about the fun that they had. Okay, this is about building memories. This is about them being this happy. Okay, because we're trying to be responsive here. This was what they wanted to do. They saw this, and they said, I want to do this. Okay, so we come up with this task, with this not task really. Okay, with this project. Okay, this is just a self-acknowledgement in a way, you can see. Of course, this girl is happy because that's the last day of SPM there. Okay, but this actually, I got this from my phone. Okay, they're selfies. Okay, they're selfies. Okay, so you can also know that my children have full access to my phone. Okay, that's this one. But also this, I know you say, then why do you have this picture at the gravesite there? Because it's all also a part of life. Okay, it's all a part of life, and it's also helping them work out this sadness. Okay, this of losing their grandfather. Okay, so you make them involved. Okay, you give them tasks. You get them feel that they matter. That's really the take-home lesson. That if nothing else, I want you to, that they matter. Okay, they matter, and they have something good inside them that is not just for them, but that they can share with the others outside, that they can even make life better for others. Okay, because they are happy inside, inshallah. Okay, so we're here and open, Brother Amran.
Okay, good. Alhamdulillah. So you're finished?
I finished.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for the very insightful talk that you have given to us. I'm sure many of us have at least been given an opportunity to reflect then on our own parenting styles. So there are quite a few questions I've received from the chat box, right? But so I'm trying to summarize or to see which ones are all there. But let me give you then the ones that came in first. This is from T. Raihan, in Tengku Raihan. So the question is, how do you deal with teasing and mocking in the class by a classmate? And how do you make the child then resilient? This is speaking of children who are 6 years old.
Okay, all right. Our first instinct as a mother is to go in. Yes. Okay. You know, your child goes back home and tell you these things. Your first instinct is to go to either to the teacher or to go to the child, to the other child. Okay. Actually, at 6 years old, I would say it would be good to go talk to the teacher. Okay, to the teacher to also see what's actually happening. Okay, I mean, here, if we are talking about preschool situation, or if you're talking about a neighbor's child, then also to really observe and see, okay, what is really happening. Okay, and then at the same time, I think what would actually be so much better is for you to give the skills to your child. Okay, get them to say that, no, you should not let yourself be bullied, but it doesn't mean that you should be bullying the others also. Okay, so depending on how mature that child is, so you can then give specific skills. Say, if your friends say this is what you say. If your friends say this is what you say. You know, if so you because they will be able to tell you what exactly are the things that this friend say. Okay, you know, also to make it very clear to them, don't be to try, and sometimes, because this is also what I would try to tell my children, what I would tell my children when they face this. Okay, you are stronger than them. Okay, you are stronger than them. Okay, and what they say about you does not matter, because you are not like that. Okay, to me, that will also help head off other types of bullying, because they understand that, you know, people can say nasty things. Okay, but you don't have to react to every nasty thing that people tell you. And we can start, even if you say, but they're only 6 years old. Yes, you can start. Okay, sometimes you just say, you just keep quiet. You know, just tell them, you just keep quiet, or just walk away. It's not about letting yourself be bullied. Okay, but you just choose not to engage with that kind of behavior. Okay, so we teach our child that, well, if it's not working, if it's still getting worse from the other, okay, sorry there. Okay, I was not getting worse from, of course, talk to the other adults involved. Okay, try talk to the other adults involved. Try not to go to the children, because, you know, we may have a different issue then later on with kiasu parents coming in. Okay, so yeah.
Okay. So next question, Doctor.
Yeah.
How do you address children at around 5 to 6 years old with divorced parents to cope with life?
Okay. One is to get them to really get them to understand that none of this is their fault. Children tend to think that they have something to bear. There is also, of course, I mean, of course, each divorce case is different. But, you know, but as nasty as the other partner is, if it's a nasty divorce, you know, try not to be nasty back, not in front of the children, or try not to talk bad about the other parent to the children. Over time, if they're really that way, you know, the parent will learn, the child will learn what the other parent is about. But it is not going to be because, you know, people will not be able to accuse you of feeding these negative things to the child. Okay, it is not about shielding the child, but it's really just, you know, that over time they will learn that if that bad person is my parent, am I also bad? So you don't want to deal with that kind of thoughts later. Okay, children are smart. Okay, if the other parent is behaving very, very nastily, they will learn about this over time. Okay. But sometimes, so it depends also on how the divorce is. If the divorce is more amicable, then maybe these kind of issues will not happen. But still, the feeling of why are my parents not together like the other children's parents? Okay, then you can start talking about them. Don't think that because they're 5 or 6, they will not be able to understand children or smart. Okay, but of course you have to talk to them at the age appropriate level. Yeah, but don't be telling them our issues. At this point, you're still very much the parent. You're still very much the child. Over time, then they're still going to be one of your strong support system. Okay, at this point, you have to be their support system. Okay, as long as they get it, it's not their fault. Okay.
Okay, next question, Doctor. How does one build adversity quotient during this pandemic? When you face setback after setback, when you think you have done everything right, check all the boxes, yet you don't get a break? Interesting question. Okay.
Okay. All right. The adversity quotient and resilience is really also very much related, kan? But yeah, you think you have done everything right, but you still don't get a break. Because we expect that if we do everything right, that it will get there. But we know also that these are all our ikhtiar, right? These are our efforts. Okay, but in the end, it will be up to Allah. And we know that Allah will give it to us when it is time. This is not just about saying, this is not lip service, but this is something that I have felt, that I have felt personally, that if we really, the tawakkul at the end, that when that's the tawakkul is there, realize that it will be better. It will be better. It will get better. We will not know when it will get better, but it will get better. And you just have to hold on and not crumble for the time being. Okay, but think again, perhaps also there are still others out there you may reach out to who can also help, right? So those are some of the things, when Allah says that He gives you as much what you can handle, right?
Yep.
Okay, so but this is also why personally when I reach that ayat, I say, okay, I know I'm not that strong, ya Allah. Okay, don't give me too much to handle, so these are but yeah, this is where the faith really has to come in.
Okay.
I know as much as the adversity quotient is not an originally Islamic concept, but I was actually talking to Prof. Kamal, my mentor in IAUM. Okay, I consider my mentor in IAUM, and he really feels that, if you understand the adversity quotient in the context of Iman, it is a good understanding to have, inshallah.
Okay. Next question, Doctor. Inshallah. What are practical activities that can be incorporated into classroom learning to build up resilience in children?
Okay. Game-based learning. Okay, you can have competitions actually. Okay, but not you can have competitions. And then so yes, so when you have competitions, there will be students who will lose, students who will not win, students who will win. So this is, but you need to create first, before you have this competition, you need to create you already have a healthy classroom environment. Okay, so it's not about if I win, I'm going to be the teacher's pet. Okay, they know it's not going to be that way. Okay, so once you have that, you have this healthy environment, you have these competitions with children. Okay, some of them will be struggling. Okay, that's okay. So you then help them, when you have this, you can have games in the classroom also, or the sports activities that you do where it's game-based, you have competition, but where we also have this healthy environment where when that child is struggling, we support. We don't go in and do the work for them. Okay, but we support. Okay, we call it scaffolding. Okay, we support, we facilitate, but we don't do their work for them. Okay, I also see this sometimes that teachers, when I was in UM, I had to be going to schools, kindergarten to look at our students doing that practicum in kindergartens. Okay, so I also took the time to also observe what other teachers were doing. Some of them, because the child seems to have an issue completing the work, and it's almost time, they would just go in and finish the work for the child. That's not building resilience. Okay, so we need to find tasks that is just slightly challenging to them, slightly above their capability. Okay. So again, that's what when I can't at this point give you specific activities because it will be very different for each group. But say, for example, for a 4-year-old, so you may have this building blocks. Okay, this competition to build blocks, right, over a certain time, which is actually doable but challenging for them. So you can do this. So sometimes, alamak, jatuh. Okay, so they have to build again. Okay, you just don't tell them to. So it's a way for them to not give up. So we'll create those kind of activities.
Okay, so thank you, Doctor. The next question we have then is lawnmower parents are the newest breed of overbearing parents who are excessively involved in their children's lives. They plow ahead, micromanaging, interfering, and arranging. Their goal is to protect them from failure, disappointment, discomfort, and adversity. So is this the same as helicopter parents?
No, they're the same as helicopter parents, but they're more like the bulldozer parents.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. But actually, because those would be the terms that we talk about in the popular society. But if you want to look it up in terms of the psychological studies, you will want to look up maladaptive parenting, okay, or over-involved parenting. Yeah.
Thank you. So next question, and then from the participants is, from a child's perspective who already faced a helicopter parenting style, and the child then realized that it's not good for him or herself, that makes the child senang koyak. How then is the child going to build his or her own resilience so that they can be a happy child? In short, is there any way for the child to start over his or her life so that they can be good to their parents and themselves?
Okay. All right. I am going to assume that the child is mature enough.
Yeah.
Right? Because the child now is able to reflect, this is what my parents have been doing for me all this time. So perhaps the child is of age. Now, this is where, when you are ready to be let go, but your parents do not want to let you go. Okay, so how do we try and be out without trying to hurt our parents' feelings, especially in Malay, we have this idea that we don't want to be anak derhaka. Okay, so that's a very delicate balance, yes, but if you are mature enough, at one point, you will come to a point when you have to sit down with your parents and say, I need this space. You need to give me this space. Okay, please give me this space. If you have to at this point, please give me this space because, I want to be the person. Okay. You talk to your parents' language lah. Okay, I want to be the person that you want me to be, but I can't be that person if you keep doing things for me. Okay, so these are, the times when you try and find your own challenges. So at this point, try and find your own challenges that would be difficult for them to go in and pull those their way. Okay, that would be one. So find an activity, okay, that's slightly different or very far removed from what you have been doing, but find a good activity lah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Lastly, there's it's not a question, rather it's a suggestion that whether would it be good then to when you mentioned about praises and about when a child has an accomplishment and so forth, to accompany their praises with mashallah or anything like that. That was a suggestion or something like that from one of the participants.
Okay. Sure. I mean, different parents have different parenting styles. This is where I would just say earlier, as I say, I don't prescribe. Okay? I don't really prescribe. If some parents are not comfortable with that, I mean, for some of us, it's not natural, but over time, actually, inshallah, it's going to be natural. Once upon a time, I don't use inshallah in my speech because it's like alamak, but as we mix around and you start getting comfortable with that kind of speech, it becomes just part of it. But it's also good if you still have young children now to just mix it with mashallah, subhanallah, so that they link it as part of that. Okay, going back to the other question earlier about adversity quotient, knowing that in the end, the good or the bad all comes from Allah. Okay, so that as long as we hold on to that, okay, that as long as we have Allah in our lives, okay, everything, inshallah, is going to be okay. If not now, later.
Okay, alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of our question and answer. I don't have any more questions from the participants, at least. And I believe as well, we have already come to we've passed the 1 hour mark already. So alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Dr. Lihanna, for your time and for everybody being here today and this morning to listen to this very interesting talk, insightful talk regarding how to prepare, how to be responsive parents and have happy kids then. So without further ado then, we'll have to close then today the session. Inshallah, we'll have a future session. Just wait for the updates from faithworks, inshallah. And as a closing then, I will just make a quick dua then for everyone, inshallah. And may Allah, we start then with Surah Al-Fatiha. Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافي مزيده يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى سيدنا محمد الحمد لله رب العالمين يا الله يا رحمن الرحيم for Rahim ya Allah. Thank you very much for allowing us to have this session today in this blessed month of Ramadan, and may everyone who has been attending this session and those who will be watching this video later on YouTube and benefit from it and assist them towards being better parents, and with the result of that, that children will become better people in the future, inshallah. That we build a big community that's resilient, that people will look to for support, right? And they will be the ones who will drive positive change in the future, inshallah. Allah, please continue to bless Dr. Lihanna and her family, and may we continue to benefit from her knowledge, right, in this particular regard, and of all of those who have attended today. And alhamdulillah, to the moderators, not moderators, the organizers of this session today, may Allah make it easy for them to continue organizing sessions such as these, and for the betterment of our ummah, inshallah. So without further ado then, thank you very much, and we shall close then the Surah Al-Asr and start with Kafarah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Al-Asr inna masana fi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Brother Man. Thank
you.
you.